Did you know that Spain has the highest number of bars for its size? But it's not for partying. You'll find people from all ages sitting in bars early in the afternoon, drinking beer or cider like it's the most common thing to do. And it is. That's where many people spend their siesta and talk with friends. For me as a foreigner who barely drinks anymore, it's frustrating to find food because most bars don't serve anything to eat and most restaurants open at 7 or 8 in the evening. Spain is full of surprises, even for me who have been living in 5 different countries in the last decade. In this video I'll share more interesting facts about Spain and what my experience has been like after living here for 1 year and 4 months. Forget what you see on Instagram, because for me Spain is green and rainy. See, unlike most expats, I'm living in the north of Spain, in Asturias, with my 3 Mexican girls, my wife, cat and dog. We love our life here, as the north is mostly calm and safe countryside. The biggest challenge, it seems, is to figure out our cultural differences at home. And that's why we decided to move to Spain. You know, I'm from Finland, so Spain is sort of a middle ground between our cultures, being Spanish speaking, obviously, and part of the European Union. For us, it was relatively easy to get a residence permit, as I'm a European citizen and we're married. More about that later. First, let's talk about the daily life, the people, and why we would move in the north. If we meet for the first time, I'm Maru, self-employed digital nomad, and I make videos on YouTube and help other creators to do the same. Back to the topic. What is daily life like in Spain? For me, a typical day is something like this. I wake up around noon to take our dog out and drink a cup of coffee. Then we make breakfast and eat. If we need something, we drive to the mall before we start to work. You see, our schedule is reversed. My wife is working for a Mexican company, so we start working around 4 in the afternoon and work until 2 in the morning, and go to sleep around 4 a.m. To make money as a self-employed creative, I design websites, write content, coach other entrepreneurs for YouTube, edit videos, and design thumbnails. But this video is about living in Spain, so let's get back to the topic. On other days, if we're not driving to the store, we might go for a walk, visit the beach, or stroll around the park. Fun fact, there's a lot of wild pigs here, and they're quite nosy coming to our backyard to turn the grass around looking for food. They're not scared of humans, and the locals don't seem to be concerned about them either. Here close to the coast they roam free, as their natural predator, the Cantabrian wolf, only lives up in the mountains. Anyway, this is not a nature documentary either, so let's talk about social life. To socialize, I mainly talk with friends online and work on building my brand. It's embarrassing to admit, but I don't have any local friends. I've been focusing on my time and effort to my work and my content, and our free time with my wife we mostly spend together, like going to see a movie or check out a local event. This year I'm hoping to improve my Spanish, have more free time and make some friends. We'll see. So why would we choose the north of Spain? When most people think of Spain, for them it means the hot cities of south like Sevilla or Madrid, and the long beaches on the Mediterranean side like Barcelona or Malaga. The rainy and green north with temperate weather is a stark contrast to the south. So why would we move here? We chose Spain because from Madrid we can fly directly to Mexico City or Helsinki. And with the new high-speed rail, you can get to Madrid in 4 hours from where we live. To move specifically to Asturias, I have to say I'm a bit of a history geek, and that had some influence on me. Asturias is rich with history, as it was the starting point of the modern nation Spain. This part was never conquered by the Muslims who invaded Hispania in the 8th century. So years before I was reading about Asturias from Wikipedia and always wanted to visit. And now I'm living here. But that's only a part of the charm. The north is also cool because this region is called España Verde, the green Spain, because it receives more rain from the Atlantic Ocean than the rest of the country. And it rarely has hot weather, as the Cantabrian mountain range isolates it from the south. Thinking about future, Asturias is a great place to live, as they will not likely suffer from water shortage anytime soon, unlike most of the other regions in Spain. Here we won't have that problem. And in terms of safety, Asturias seems to be a very safe and calm place to live. This is literally the heartland of Spain, where you can find cows, sheep, and old farmhouses with peculiar and ancient granaries, and majestic cliffs at the coast. Okay, how about the people? How are the people like in Spain, and how do I fit in? The people I've interacted with here are friendly and polite. You know, for me it's mostly speaking simple Spanish when I'm running my errands. While I can follow a conversation in Spanish, I can't really take part as I'm not fluent enough. yet. My wife has thankfully made some friends here that gives our relationship some needed balance. In summary, people here simply mind their own business and leave you alone. You can say hi to people on your home street and most reply politely. Time will tell if I ever get friends here or fit in. The reality as a foreigner is that you'll always feel like an outsider. And one thing to prepare for is the kiss to both cheeks when friends meet. I prefer a handshake or a hug, but when in Rome, Spain versus Finland. If I compare Finland and Spain, I choose Spain for now. I miss my friends back home, but if I can choose, I prefer to visit them during the summer whenever I can and live here. What Spain doesn't have is sauna. Now in mid-January, when it's close to zero during the nights, I really miss sauna. You know, in Finland, basically every house has a sauna and people typically go bathing once or twice per week. But here's something I've learned about living in multiple countries. On the foundational level, your life is the same regardless where you live. I mean, I would be doing the same things whether I'm living in Malta, Mexico, Portugal, or Finland. So you still have to work, pay bills, clean the cat litter, and do the normal chores. I've noticed that some people associate living abroad with having a vacation, but that's not true. To have a big change in lifestyle, it's not a question about location, but income. My plan for this year is to make more money with my business and go from surviving to thriving. Once that happens, I'm sure my experience of living in Spain will also become different. More about that in later videos, I guess. What surprised me about living in Spain? So the afternoon siesta is still a big thing here in Asturias. Most stores close at 2 p.m. and open again at 5. People are up until late. It's common to eat dinner until close to midnight, and it's common to see kids outside even when it's late, often by themselves. Sundays are very quiet. Expect almost every store to be closed on Sundays. Insulation. Even if the winter is quite cold here, many houses have poor insulation. That means keeping the gas heater on to stay warm or wearing more layers of clothes. I was also surprised by the number of wind turbines. Did you know that Spain produces over 25% of its energy from wind alone? I wish Finland would follow their example. The number of local fiestas. During the summer, they had 2 festivals down at the beach. They had many events in Aviles, Piedras Blancas, Oviedo, and Gijón. And even in our small community, they arranged a festival or 2. Cider is a drink here in the north of Spain. The traditional cider here, called Sidra Natural, is dry, tangy, and sometimes a bit bitter. So you need to know what to drink. There's a lot of variation. And the way you drink it, you have to pour it from way up high to aerate the drink. Locals call it escanciar. It's messy, dramatic, and completely unique to this region. Okay, moving on. How expensive it is to live in Spain. The cost of living in Spain varies a lot depending where you live. Madrid, Barcelona, and Bilbao are the most expensive areas. Asturias is cheaper for renting an apartment and offers more affordable living in general, while still providing all the amenities of modern life. For our first little apartment, we pay about 600 euros per month, but for that you don't get too many rooms, and that's the reason why I've been shooting my videos in our bedroom. Makes it more authentic, right? For a more spacious apartment, expect to pay 800 or more, and double that in big cities, in city centers. Gas, electricity, and water. Here, most utilities are billed bi-monthly. Our gas bill for 2 months is around 50 euros on average. For electricity, we typically pay around 70 euros for 2 months. And for water and waste collection, the bill is usually 60 euros for 3 months. For the internet and phone, I pay 20 euros per month. So in total, expect to pay around 100 euros per month for the basic utilities. The price for food in Spain is between the Mexican and Finnish prices. According to Nomad, monthly food bill per person in Spain is 256 euros, while Mexico is lower at 226 euros and Finland higher at 329 euros. There are many supermarket chains to choose from. We usually go to Carrefour or Dia. Language. As I mentioned, I've been slacking with my Spanish. I get by in most situations, or at least act that I understand. But for the future, I do want to find the time to become fluent in Spanish. If you intend to live in Spain or any Spanish-speaking country, you have to learn Spanish. There's no way around it. While some people do speak English, most of them don't. To get your paperwork done and run your daily errands, you'll need to have at least basic level and be comfortable using it. Speaking of paperwork, for me as a European citizen, moving to another country inside EU is quite easy. If you stay for less than 3 months, you don't need to do anything. And honestly, back in 2018, I was living in Malaga for 6 months, just renting an Airbnb, and I didn't register myself anywhere. So depends what you're doing in the country. Here's the main paperwork you'll need to get done. And this is just my experience and based on what I remember, not professional advice. First thing to get in Spain is NIE, Número de Identificación Extranjero, which means the ID for foreigner. This is useful when you want to rent an apartment, open a bank account, get a phone contract, and so on. You'll need this number everywhere if you intend to live in Spain for long. Here's how to get it. I'll add the links below. Download and fill the form EX15. Print the original and make a copy. Fill and print impreso 790 and go to a local bank to pay the application fee. That's about 10 euros. They will stamp your paper and give you a receipt. Get a copy of your passport's ID page. Go to a local police station to leave your application form. If you don't speak any Spanish, ask a friend to help you. Don't assume any local authority understands English. Seriously. You should be able to get the NIE in a couple of weeks, and you can pick up the paper from the police station. If you intend to live in Spain for months and longer, schedule an appointment to apply for the residency permit at your nearest police station for EU citizens or immigration office for people outside EU. Also, go to the local city hall to register yourself to living in Spain. Have a copy of your lease agreement, NIE, and passport with you. You need to add this to your residence application. For me as an EU citizen, I filled the form EX18 to apply for the EU registration certificate known as the green card, and for my wife, she filled the EX17 form to apply for the TIE, Tarjeta de Identidad Extranjero. Finally, for her application, I had to show proof that I earn enough money to support my wife, even if she's doing full-time remote work and making more than me for the moment. And another thing to know is that you'll need to have a private health insurance in Spain to apply for the residency if you don't have a Spanish employer who pays for your social security contributions. And lastly, have all your papers in Spanish or officially translated into Spanish. They will not accept any documents in any other language. The whole process was somewhat time-consuming and confusing, but now we both have the needed papers to live here for years. So the green card doesn't seem to have any expiration date. And if I remember correctly, the first TIE that you get as a foreigner is for 4 years. What about the future? We are now moving to another apartment and by the looks of it, planning to stay here for another year. I'm looking forward for the summer and building my business, so I'm optimistic and hoping that everything goes well. There are many challenges, but we're taking small steps forward. When I become rich and successful in some years, my goal is to buy my own farmhouse here and be the king of the castle. We'll see if that ever happens. If you have any questions about living in Spain, go ahead and write a comment below. I'll be happy to reply. If this video gets more than 1000 views, I'll do more videos about Asturias. This hidden gem deserves more attention. Before that happens, you can watch one of these videos from my channel.